Hey, Kodak Black, you out of pocket, nigga. Fix that shit. Quickly, expeditiously, nigga. You out of pocket, nigga. If ain't nobody else gonna say it, nigga, I done said it to you, nigga, and if I see you, I'ma say it in your face, nigga. You out of pocket, nigga. Get yourself together.
I need that out the way.
Stop hitting me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay?
The Harris family, once celebrated as hip-hop royalty, is now caught in a storm of controversy. Everything spiraled out of control after a wave of leaked photos, allegedly linked to King Harris, the son of T.I. and Tiny, spread across the internet like wildfire. These were not simple selfies. They were bold, intimate, and far too private to be circulating on social media feeds. The online reaction was instant. Fans were stunned, critics pounced, and in no time the Harris household, once seen as a model of success, was being dragged through the mud. But the criticism did not stop with King. People turned their attention toward T.I. and Tiny, questioning whether the parents had failed to guide their son. The backlash grew harsher by the day. And while King chose to stay silent, the chatter only intensified. Then came the shocking twist. Rumors began circulating that T.I. had distanced himself from his son, allegedly disowning him right in the middle of the chaos.
Let you tell it. You was an orphan.
I was never an orphan. That was Batman. That's Batman's story. I'm a grandma boy.
Man,
I like to be in the neighborhood.
The man once admired for building a rap empire centered on family values is now facing accusations of turning his back on his own child. That shocking twist transformed an already messy scandal into a full-blown circus, leaving fans demanding answers about what really happened behind closed doors. For years, the Harris name stood strong in hip-hop culture. T.I., the self-proclaimed king of the South, was more than just a hitmaker. He was a mogul, a businessman, and the face of a powerful family dynasty. His wife, Tiny, came from R&B royalty through her group Xscape. Together, they built a blended family that rose to fame on shows like T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. On camera, they appeared to be the ultimate power couple, wealthy, united, and unstoppable. But behind those polished smiles and reality show edits, tension had been brewing for years. King Harris, born into fame in 2004, was never just another celebrity child. He was loud, bold, and constantly seeking attention. At first, fans brushed it off as harmless, even entertaining. But as he grew older, that fiery personality evolved into reckless behavior, each incident pushing the family deeper into controversy. From explosive livestream rants to public outbursts, King's actions became one headline after another. The chaos reached new heights when King became a father far too soon, and not without controversy. He welcomed a child with an older woman known as Big Nana, but instead of support, the internet erupted in criticism. Many did not congratulate him, instead, they mocked and judged. Whispers claimed the pregnancy was a cover-up for other scandals, or worse, a publicity stunt. Then came the biggest twist of all. A viral TikTok alleged that King might not even be the real father. Supposed DNA results had people losing their minds, and the Harris family became the subject of endless memes. Tiny tried to push back, posting family photos with the baby and calling the rumors nothing but clickbait. But the internet was relentless. King's sister, Nick Poland, added fuel to the fire by tweeting a sarcastic remark. "What street this word come off of? Chile?" That only intensified speculation. Soon, fans dug up old clips of T.I.'s reaction to King's baby news, and it did not look like pride, it looked like doubt, maybe even concern. Suddenly, whispers about paternity were no longer just gossip, they became the center of the storm, and just when it seemed the situation could not get worse, an old feud resurfaced. Back in 2019, Kodak Black launched a tirade on Instagram Live, taking personal shots at T.I.'s sons with crude, disrespectful comments. At the time, most dismissed it as typical rap beef. But now, with King's scandals in the spotlight, Kodak's words are being re-examined as possible clues. Was he just ranting, or did he know something all along? Fans also noticed that when T.I. clapped back at Kodak, his defense focused on pride, legacy, and respect for his own name, but not directly on protecting King. That silence is now raising even more eyebrows.
What is the world what do you feel like they got on you that they shouldn't have on you? Because I feel like with them probably seeing you grow up, they just got like, you can't be you.
Go.
Yeah, man, it's a lot about that TV show, man, that got people confused. Because I live with my grandma. You know, we'll go to the house on like a weekend. They'll say, hey, we shooting today. We need y'all at the house. They'll come get me from my grandma's house. And right after we done, when the cameras go off, I'm right back to my grandma's house. Yeah.
That silence now hangs over the Harris family like a shadow. fueling speculation that T.I. may have known far more than he ever let on. Fast forward to 2025, and King Harris is at the heart of one of hip-hop's most chaotic family dramas. The leaked photos, the whispers of a double life, and the paternity storm surrounding his child have turned him into a trending name, but not for the reasons anyone in his family would want. Then King shocked everyone by tossing gasoline on the fire with a confession that flipped the narrative upside down. He revealed that he never actually grew up in the glamorous mansion the world saw on T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle. According to him, that picture-perfect reality was all staged. He claimed producers would scoop him up from his grandmother's house, dress him for the cameras, make him pose as part of a perfect family, and then send him right back when filming wrapped. That admission cracked the carefully crafted Harris image wide open, exposing a boy raised more by his grandmother than his superstar parents. Fans immediately began connecting the dots.
Maybe this lack of daily parenting was the root of King's hunger for attention, the outrageous stunts, the meltdowns, and the endless headlines.
Suddenly, his behavior did not just look like teenage rebellion, it looked like cries for validation.
King went viral for antics that seemed more shocking than entertaining.
From tackling the one-chip challenge with a homeless man, to cursing out a store clerk on livestream, to dropping serious money on a brand new set of teeth just for clout, each stunt screamed louder than the last, "Notice me." But instead of being celebrated for talent, King became infamous for his unpredictable outbursts. He even went as far as challenging the late rapper Julio to a boxing match, which many dismissed as pure clout chasing. Others warned it was reckless, especially given how quickly rap beefs can turn deadly. To many, it seemed King was desperately searching for an identity, pushing boundaries to see what people would tolerate instead of carving his own lane. Then came one of the most infamous episodes yet, the NFL meltdown. What was meant to be a wholesome father-son trip to a football game spiraled into chaos. Cameras caught King yelling, puffing out his chest, and screaming that he was standing on business. The crowd was stunned, and the moment teetered on the edge of disaster. That was when T.I. himself had to intervene. The rap legend physically put his own son in a headlock, yes, a real headlock, in front of thousands of spectators and rolling cameras. The clip spread online in minutes, igniting debate everywhere. For many, that scene was bigger than a father disciplining his son. It was a desperate act of damage control, an attempt to rein in a young man spiraling out of control before he dragged the Harris legacy even deeper into controversy. But the chaos did not stop there. King's next headline came when police reportedly pulled him over and found weed in his car. Just like that, another mugshot went viral.
The timing could not have been worse.
Only days earlier, King had dropped a flashy music video filled with guns and street bravado, trying to brand himself as a hardened figure. Fans and critics immediately tore him apart. Some accused him of cosplaying a gangster when everyone knew he came from privilege, while others warned he was a young man spiraling out of control without real guidance. Even Boozy stepped in, telling King to chill before things turned ugly. And when someone like Boozy is the one urging caution, you know you are already walking on dangerous ground. Meanwhile, T.I. looked like a man split in two. On the surface, he showed public love, reminding everyone that King was still young and learning. But behind the scenes, insiders whispered that his patience was wearing thin. How many times could he defend his son before the public stopped believing him? Every time he dismissed the chaos as just a phase, King would come back with another scandal that proved the opposite. To outsiders, it looked like a father running out of excuses and a son who did not care about the fallout. But to others, it looked more heartbreaking.
Maybe King was not just rebelling, maybe he was hurting.
His online rants gave glimpses of that pain.
In one clapback, he snapped, "If I'm the ugliest person in the world, what that make you?"
It was not just petty banter, it sounded like someone who had been judged more than loved, criticized more than guided. That rawness made fans ask a different question: was this about bad decisions, or about neglect? If King truly spent more of his childhood with his grandmother than his superstar parents, maybe that emotional distance left scars no one wanted to admit. Suddenly, his meltdowns, mugshots, and reckless stunts no longer looked like rebellion. They looked like cries for help, calls that nobody in his family seemed to know how to answer, and that is the real tragedy. Beneath the drama, the headlines, and the endless memes, there is a young man trying to figure out who he is outside the shadow of T.I. and Tiny. Instead of being guided through the pressures of fame, he has been left to stumble through it in real time, under the harshest spotlight, the internet. And now, with rumors about his child, questions about his lifestyle, and whispers that T.I. may have cut him off, the distance between father and son feels impossible to ignore. The world is left asking, is T.I. stepping back to protect his brand, or is he just a heartbroken father who no longer knows how to reach his son? Either way, one truth is clear. Each outburst makes the damage harder to fix, and each headline pushes the wedge deeper. To truly understand why King Harris ended up in this whirlwind, we have to rewind and look at the bigger picture of how he grew up. Clifford Joseph Harris Jr., better known as T.I., was already a household name by the early 2000s, dominating the charts with trap music and urban legend. He was not just a rapper, he was a mogul in the making, stacking hits, running Grand Hustle records, starring in films, launching clothing lines, and eventually, building a reality TV empire alongside his wife, Tiny. On paper, it looked like the American dream dressed in designer clothes with a touch of Atlanta street credibility. But here is the truth. While T.I. was building his empire, someone in his household was quietly being left behind. That someone was King. Born in 2004, King was pushed into the spotlight before he even knew how to walk. By 2011, when Family Hustle aired, millions of viewers saw what appeared to be a close-knit, happy family living large inside a mansion. Yet, King later shattered that picture-perfect illusion. He revealed the reality was staged. He was not raised in that glamorous house. Most of the time, he lived with his grandmother. Whenever filming rolled around, they would scoop him up, place him in front of the cameras, and once the lights shut off, he went right back to grandma's. That revelation flipped the script, forcing fans to realize the so-called perfect family image was nothing more than television magic. But it left an even bigger question hanging: why would T.I. and Tiny, with all their money, power, and resources, choose not to raise King full-time? Insiders claim T.I.'s relentless schedule played a huge role. At the peak of his career, he was everywhere at once, touring, recording, filming, managing business ventures, and barely home long enough to breathe. Tiny was not far behind, juggling her own music career, raising multiple kids, and holding down her space in the entertainment world. The weight of responsibility fell heavily on Grandma, who became the one providing stability. And while the love of a grandmother is irreplaceable, it could never substitute for two active parents guiding their son through the unique pressures of growing up in fame. At first, the gap might have seemed small. But over the years, it left scars. King was not just growing up, he was growing up in the shadow of cameras, with too much freedom and not enough structure. That freedom, eventually, turned dangerous. King was always spirited, loud, and attention-seeking. As a child on TV, he became known for his funny one-liners and viral moments. But as time passed, the cuteness wore off and the behavior grew harder to control. The same boldness that once made fans laugh morphed into defiance, arrogance, and pure chaos. Social media became his new stage, but instead of winning people over with talent, he built a reputation for rants, fights, and reckless behavior. One day he was beefing online, the next he was getting clowned for arguing with a store clerk or pretending he was built for the streets. Fans began to wonder, was this rebellion? Or was it really a cry for attention from parents who were not always there? The infamous headlock incident at the NFL game revealed what had been simmering beneath the surface. Watching a father put his son in a chokehold in front of thousands was not just discipline, it was desperation. Years of tension, frustration, and missed moments exploded in a single viral clip. That image became symbolic, not only of a son spiraling out of control, but also of a father who could no longer keep the chaos hidden behind closed doors. Shortly after, King's arrest pushed the situation further downhill. His mugshot became another meme, another headline, and another reason for critics to drag the Harris family name through the mud. For a household built on image and reputation, this was more than personal drama, it was brand destruction, and here is the painful truth. King's story feels bigger than just a series of bad decisions. This is the journey of a young man who was famous before he even understood what fame meant. Cameras came before the lessons. The spotlight hit harder than the parenting. Now he is left to figure out his identity under the most ruthless audience of all, the internet. When King lashes out, flexes for attention, or claps back at haters, it does not always sound like arrogance. At times, it sounds like pain, the pain of someone who has been judged far more often than he has been guided. And while T.I. may have built an empire, his son's struggles expose the hidden cost of trying to balance success and family without true stability. So where does that leave King now? He is no longer a child. He is a young man standing at a crossroads. With every choice he makes broadcast to millions. The real question is, will he find a way to turn things around and carve out his own legacy, or will he continue spiraling, becoming yet another cautionary tale of fame, family, and fractured parenting? Did T.I. and Tiny miss their chance to keep him grounded, or is King determined to walk his own path no matter how messy that road becomes? One thing is certain, the spotlight does not forgive. In today's world of leaks, receipts, and viral clips, there is nowhere left to hide. And that is exactly why the Harris family saga has the world watching so closely. This is not just about one young man's mistakes. It is about what happens when fame collides with family, and no one knows how to handle the fallout. King Harris is not just battling headlines and gossip. He is wrestling with expectations, legacy, and the heavy burden of being T.I.'s son. Whether he rises above or crashes under the pressure is something we are all witnessing in real time, and the truth is, the next chapter may be even more shocking than everything we have already seen. So now the question shifts to you, what do you think? Is King simply a reckless young man making bad decisions, or is he a product of neglect and pressure that was always bubbling behind the scenes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And do not forget, hit that subscribe button, smash that like, share this with your people, and drop a comment about where you believe this saga is heading.